Just minutes away from Donald Trump's second presidential inauguration.
Alex Michelson is in Washington, D.C. We're seeing the Vice President Kamala Harris leaving the White House right now.
Yeah, let's get you straight to that live picture right now of Vice President Kamala Harris along with Vice President-elect J.D. Vance, or I guess we're not going to take you live to that picture. We're going to show you inside the Capitol instead. This is a look at, okay, here we go. There is what will be the motorcade of the Vice Presidents. Just a few moments ago, we saw the First Ladies, Melania Trump and Jill Biden, leaving. This is the motorcade now that's going to take Vice President Kamala Harris and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance. And in any moment now, we expect to see President Biden and former President, future President Trump walk out together from those doors. We see now okay, this is some video from just a few moments ago. This was Melania Trump and Jill Biden. They're making the ride together. And then we expect to see their husbands making the ride together any moment now. And when that moment happens, we will bring it to you. In the meantime, let's take you back inside where they're headed, which is Capitol Hill. And we're getting our first look inside the Capitol Rotunda. And you can see all the folks that are arriving there. Many of the members of Congress are there. We have seen some of the former presidents there, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton arriving. That's a look from outside the Capitol. Hopefully we can take you inside the Capitol to show you what we're talking about here. Here we go. So we see different dignitaries arriving, some of them, you know, members of Congress. We see right there is Steve Scalise, who is the Republican Majority Leader, walking in. We have seen some of the former speakers of the House that are there at the top of your screen. You see Kevin Kiley, who is the congressman from California, who I interviewed a couple days ago. Vince Fong, also a congressman from California, walking in. You see all these different members greeting each other. This will be a joint session, if you will, even though it's not technically a session between the House and the Senate. They're all invited. But you think about this, their staffs. There's Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, who hopes to one day be the Speaker of the House. But is currently the minority leader. We expect to see the Speaker of the House any moment too, Mike Johnson. You know, all of the Congress members' staffs all were assigned hundreds of tickets each. So all of them had hundreds of constituents that moved in together to Washington, spent a lot of money to be here, and are essentially literally out on the cold today. And so they are not able to see it. Some of them coming here to the Capital One Center. Sounds like there's some music playing in there. That we can hear that's playing inside there right now. So this is what the setup is going to look like. It's the same setup that Ronald Reagan used back in 1985 when the inauguration was moved inside because of weather. We have not seen another inauguration like that since. We're seeing some more of the members of Congress come in to find their seats, but they're not even allowed to bring their spouses. You see Jim Jordan there, a recognizable congressman from Ohio. This is basically members only. Only some 750 people are going to be allowed in the rotunda to watch this thing, which is very cramped quarters for a space which is not really set up for that sort of thing. We've got some different angles too. We might be able to take you up over the rotunda where you get a cool shot of what's going on here as the members start to fill in. Yeah, look at this. Isn't that a cool camera angle where you get to see where the inauguration is going to be happening? Okay, let's take you back now to the White House. This is where we see Donald Trump and Joe Biden. You can hear the crowd cheering behind us as the two presidents will make this ride together. Joe Biden's last exit from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue as president. For 50 years, he wanted to be the president of the United States. Finally got there. and is now leaving office. Wanted to run against Donald Trump still thinks that he could have beaten him if he was able to run in this election, but his party clearly did not want him to go forward. The polls seem to indicate that he did not have a path to victory, and now he leaves office with Trump coming back. And we hear from some of the pool reporters that when Joe Biden welcomed Donald Trump back to the White House a little bit earlier this morning, his words to him were, "Welcome home," which is a very Joe Biden way of going about this. Remember, again, this did not happen 4 years ago because Donald Trump did not extend the invitation to Joe Biden. Donald Trump, the only president in modern history not to do that. So as we look back on Capitol Hill, you see John Cornyn there, who is the senator from Texas, and you see various members. And Melvin and Jen, you think about this, you know, we have Republican unified control in Washington. Traditionally, whenever one party has had total control, you see John Fetterman there, senator from Pennsylvania, wearing a sweatshirt.
Right.
This is his thing.
At a presidential inauguration.
He's not big into the suits, but that's quite a look to do that. And there he is, Elon Musk, who some call the shadow president right now. We saw him there last night. Joe Biden, in his final speech, warning of an oligarchy, warning about the power of big tech. He never said the name Elon Musk, but he might as well have said the name Elon Musk, warning about Elon Musk. And now we see this shot of the presidential motorcade. And Jen and Melvin, you see the empty stands there. This was supposed to be where the parade was happening, the grandstand for the parade, but instead they're moving the parade to where we are here at the Capital One Center, saying that it was all because of the cold. Some folks are speculating whether security may have something to do with that. Brett Baer on with us last night saying it's probably more than just the cold. But in any event, we don't see the parade route lined with people. Instead, we see that parade empty, now moving past the Treasury Department and on their way to Capitol Hill. It'll be interesting to see if they're, the amount of people that may be along the parade route hoping to see the motorcade, because this is the only thing that they can see. They're not able to get in here. You think about Capital One Center, there's 20,000 people here, and, there were some 300,000 people expected. So where's everybody else go? And maybe we'll see some of them lined up near Capitol Hill, but right now you don't see a lot of people on the streets.
No, that appears to be inaccessible to the public right now. Yeah, as we watch the presidential motorcade going to the Capitol for the inauguration, what a moment that we're looking at right now. Kind of an unceremonious exit from the White House, though, I have to add, between President Trump and President Biden.
Yeah, and you wonder also, like, what do they talk about in this scenario?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? What is that?
What's the conversation like right now?
What is that conversation like?
Right now. Right. Inside that car, what is the conversation that's happening right now?
Or is it just cold silence?
I know that when reporters had asked President Biden what his message of the day was, he just said one word, and he said joy.
Yeah, I've spent time with both of these men, and both are incredibly charming. Joe Biden and Donald Trump in different ways. Both of them have very good sense of humor. Both of them are used to filling awkward spaces with comments. So it's hard to imagine that it is stone silence. You saw at Jimmy Carter's funeral, Donald Trump sitting next to Barack Obama, and the two of them laughing and joking together. Politics is a tough business. But in a lot of sense, it is a business, and a lot of the professional practitioners of it have much warmer relationships behind the scenes than they do in front of the camera. Donald Trump is a part of the President's Club. There was a book written about that a few years ago. And traditionally, the ex-presidents are very close and help each other. And a lot of that is not in front of the cameras, but you think about the ways that some of the presidents have used former presidents. George W. Bush called on his father, called on Bill Clinton. Barack Obama called on Bill Clinton and George W. Bush. They did missions for them. Jimmy Carter did missions for different presidents. Donald Trump was never been close with the other presidents, didn't attend a lot of events with them. That Carter funeral was one of the first times when we saw him with the group. But we do see a bit of a different Donald Trump. And that's something Bret Baier talked about. That's something a lot of other folks I know who know him have talked about, that he's more comfortable in his skin. He's a little happier now, and seems to be doing things a bit differently. So will he be a little bit more respectful of his predecessors and of tradition? By all indications, talking to people involved in this world, the speech today is going to be a lot more inclusive than what we saw from Donald Trump in 2017 when he talked about American carnage. The speech, at the end of that speech, which was so dark in tone, George W. Bush turned to Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama and said, "That's some weird blank." Talking about that they never really heard a speech like that at an inauguration. Usually an inauguration speech is supposed to be something that's unifying and light. But what we're seeing from Trump and what we're seeing in terms of the excerpts is that we'll probably see more of that sort of speech today and less of one that's in the darker sense. And the feeling, Jen, you asked about the feeling here compared to 2017 earlier, is very inclusive and much more celebratory now. We don't see the protesters in the streets that we saw back in 2017, and there's a lot more joy and a lot less conflict at this particular event than what we saw in the past.